Recording. There we go.
There we go.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Aw, thanks, Tara. You're sweet. I am so excited to be here with these beautiful ladies. And today, we are going to talk about the incredible yacht trip that Eva earned. And we have some of her beautiful guests on with us as well. And I'm going to pick Eva's brain and pick the guests' brains, and they don't know what questions I'm going to ask them. But so we're going to jump right in. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Samantha. And a little fun fact, I have known Eva since way before Plexus. She used to come to New Year's Eves at Sherry's house when I was a kid. And Sherry had, I think, or Eva had two kids at that point in time. And she was this beautiful lady then. But watching her over the years and how she has like turned into this absolutely even more incredible person. And it's kind of like watching a butterfly hatch. And it's just absolutely incredible to watch. A lot of these ladies, the same with Sherry. But today we're talking about Eva. So it's been especially special. All right. So Eva, my first question for you, because some people might be watching this call and they like know a little bit of who you are. They know that you're, a diamond and that you're a successful leader with Plexus. But can you give like a very brief, like synopsis of kind of your Plexus story?
Sure. So
Curveball number one. No.
it's almost my 10th anniversary, which is in September. So 10 years. And like if I had known all the things that were going to happen, I probably might not have said yes to it. But if I hadn't, but I could see all the good things that could happen. And that's what always drove me forward. Like I could see other people had done it before me. They had made income that was complete freedom for their family. So I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. And my journey has been just a long list of fears to overcome and things to recognize about myself that I could do, and then doing them and taking action instead of overthinking about it, and trusting God. Like those are just trusting that it would work out because I was doing the things. And one of the biggest, I don't know how deep you wanted me to go into the story, but the biggest thing for me was I wanted to see change for my family's future, financially and freedom wise, that we would have choices. And in the last 3 years, a ton of choices were taken away from our family. And we were still able to make choices instantly and on the spot without having to worry about money. And that's what I had to work towards. And that was just like, I'm after 10 years, I'm even more refreshed and more excited and more feel this responsibility of telling other people about this so that they can have those choices too, whatever those kind of choices look like for your family, but that you are able to make them without fear of cost or fear of somebody telling you what to do. You have your own freedom. Anyway, that was the core of it, and that's where we went, and it worked. And so many people going alongside of us has just been worth it from the beginning.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm curious, and this is kind of we'll get to the yacht trip part in a second here. But what was your view of network marketing before you started Plexus?
That's a funny question, because this was my actual view, and people laugh when I say this. It was a bunch of fancy ladies going on stage getting recognized for just random things that nobody understood. That was truly my, like, I didn't understand what it was. Like they sell some stuff and like some candles and things, and then what's the point of the team building, and what's the point of, like, I just thought it was like for show, which is interesting because what you think of other people is usually the fear that you have of people thinking of you, that I would do something for show or just for fanciness or just for like that. So getting that all out of my head and working through all of that, who cares? Like, who cares if that's something, the way somebody views the way you're building something, it's totally fine. But yeah, that was my view of it. I didn't have any views of it like that it was scammy or schemy. Like I hadn't had any experience in that. I just didn't take it seriously because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So then that kind of goes into my next question is when Plexus announced that they were doing the Star Diamond program and the yacht trip and those things. What was your initial reaction to having earned that
Um,
already?
when it came out, wasn't it like at a Super Saturday when it came out?
Yeah.
All I was doing, like, I'm not a big numbers person, and it's hard for me to strategize numbers without seeing them in front of me. But I was, as they were revealing it, I was like counting on my finger. I'm like, I think I earned this thing. Like, I'm pretty sure I already did what they are trying to incentivize people to do and how to build their teams. And it was something that I had thought of from the very beginning, that I could see how the longevity of my team would be based on how many other strong leaders I could build on my team. And so my goal had always been to have 7 level 1 diamonds. And that went in my favor, always having built my business in that way. And so my reaction was, I did an awesome job. And not to be proud about it, but just like,
No.
my team is amazing that they like that they were how we worked together and how they built their own leadership. And it was just incredible to recognize that what they had created was already pointed out who had been doing that all along. It was very interesting.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So with your initial view of network marketing, was that totally gone, or did that come up for you a little bit when you had earned the yacht trip? Like, was it like, oh, this is like a showy thing? Did any of those threads come up, or was that totally not a thing? You were just like,
No, I don't think I thought any of those thoughts, except for just, wow, I'm like really out of my league. Like, this is not a millionaire trip. This is actually a billionaire trip. Like, I'm out of my league, but we absorbed it. I mean, all the girls could,
mm,
I'm sure they all will agree with me that were on the yacht with me. We absorbed it to the max. Like, there was nobody hovering in a corner, not being able to receive. We had all grown in a way I think the last couple of years had just prepared us for that moment of just fully receiving, because we knew who we were and how much we were loved. And it was just perfect. Yeah, I don't think
love
anybody
it.
has
Love
had
it.
any issues with that.
Yeah, so the imposter syndrome or like those pre-existing beliefs, none of that. You didn't feel challenged at all in that because you've done enough growth at this point that you're just like, I can just enjoy the trip and love it
I
and
would
sit
say
in that
that.
and soak it all up. I love it. Love it. Okay, I'm gonna go to the guests for a second because So how did you let's start with Sarah. How did you feel when you were invited to join her with this trip? Like what kind of came up with you? What were the feelings or emotions or thoughts?
Ooh, first I felt very unworthy. I was like, of all the people she could pick, why is she asking me? Does she just have like extra space? What's happening? But then just recognizing how I was feeling and receiving and accepting that invitation, that she really does value me as one of her leaders, not just because I'm her sister or that she wants me to experience something amazing. She valued me as one of her top leaders. So being able to just um, feel that and acknowledge that and be like, I am one of her top leaders and I also need to be proud of that. And it made me want to be able to give that to someone as well, earn that trip myself and help someone else
Mm,
feel the same way.
I love that. So, Sherry, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
On the same question?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, Sarah, because I would say I've actually felt along the same lines of Eva has always affirmed my leadership, and that's what's helped me grow in leadership. But you know how your mind argues with other people and stuff? You have that your personal critic that attacks that. Well, in the last year, I've been overcoming that critic and actually leaning into who I was created to be and accepting that. So when Eva invited me, there was that shift of actually receiving that space, I guess, that place. But overall, when Eva told me, I don't normally get super excited about trips. I don't really feel them until I'm in the moment. But with this trip, I felt it the whole time. Like I had these butterflies in my belly. I could hardly believe it. Just like overwhelmed and just like what? Like, and like what Sarah said, Eva could have invited anyone. So it wasn't like I earned the trip or something. She had invited me. So there was just something about that, to be invited onto a trip like that, that was just, oh, I want to say overwhelming, but at the same time I felt like I was able to take it in. So it was overwhelming, but I took it in too. So
I love that. I mean, I know each of you ladies have done so much growth and have worked so hard to work on all of these things, right? To get to this place and to be able to sit in that and soak it up. And so I love hearing where you're at because that's not always the case, right? Um, so where did my question go? Do you see my roommate came in? So how did I'm curious. I want to dig into this because I know something that comes up, and for a lot of people, we have to work through this. And so I'm pretty sure that I'm like 99% sure y'all are in a healthy spot with this. But with Plexus and network marketing and how when, we rise by lifting others and it's a team, right? And what you do impacts those above you as well as, and it's Eva can't do it without you, but also Eva, we can't do it without Eva, right? She pours so much into the team. So I'm curious what thoughts or beliefs with Eva earning this trip. Marge, I would love to hear kind of that dynamic of knowing that she invited you along with this trip that that she earned, but also that you and your team and everyone played such a huge part in her earning this trip, right? And kind of that dynamic. What were kind of your thoughts and feelings or beliefs, and did you have to work on those beliefs maybe way back? Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Definitely worked on belief along all of the 9 years. I would say, like, I love how Sherry put that. Like, we carry our own inner critic at every level of growth that we go through. And every level, we're stepping into a little bit of a bigger version of ourselves. And then that previous level is like, oh, whatever, that was no big deal. This is way bigger. This is way harder, right? And I have followed Eva throughout all those growth levels. And so for every stage that I walked myself into and made myself lean into and say, this is very hard, but I'm going to grow into this, I always knew it was possible. I always knew it was possible. And did I feel overwhelmed when I was invited? Yes, definitely. I felt overwhelmed because the belief in us was so huge, right? And so for me to be invited was a massive belief increase, because now my vision is like, March, we're going to earn that yacht trip. Now it's more real than ever. Like, it was putting a dream into reality before it was ever available to me. And now my vision for looking for leaders, for growing leaders, for offering people what we have and what we've gone through and what we can do is even bigger. And that part, I think, is my favorite, because that's going to feed the journey going forward.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Judith, do you have any thoughts to add to that as well?
I did. I really love the way it showcased not just like what's going on this month, not just points, but the long term. I know it's really helped me as well. Know where I want to go with my team. It's that big picture, that like a further out vision. And just so much admiration for what Eva has done. She hasn't always been in the limelight, maybe a lot, but I think it showcased so much who she is without her saying a word. And I loved that. And there's so much in her character and who she is as a woman that I want to carry on and exemplify in my own team.
Mm-hmm.
When she messaged and invited me, I think I shook for the first 24 hours. Like the overwhelm was just huge. Like, I don't know in my life if I've received a gift of that magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
but like others said, it really, really makes you look inward and then look around you to like, how can I bless my team and how can I bless others the way I've been blessed?
I love that. Yeah. So, who should I? So I'm curious, what values and qualities, and we're going to go around each one you can share, do you see in Eva as your upline and leader? And what do you see shine out of her? Sherry, you look like you're ready to start.
Well, there's a lot of qualities and qualities that I didn't even know were there, but as I grow in leadership, I see more of Eva's qualities. Eva, you can cry and bawl. It's totally fine. So one thing I see in Eva is that she doesn't run too far ahead of her people. Like she stays relatable to everyone around her. And that was huge for me because this whole journey, she's made me feel like I could do this because she allowed me to see her how hard it was for her to face not necessarily the things in life, but the things inside of her, like the fears of going onto the stage, the fears of speaking to people, the fears of being on this Zoom right now and hearing people talk. Yeah, like just like all the feelings that you might feel. She has allowed us to see that, but she doesn't allow that to stop her. And so when I've seen that, it's always just made me feel like I can do this too. And so that's a huge quality that I see in her. I also see her ability to see really far into the future and not lose sight of it. Like she has the ability to stay focused, but she doesn't get so hung up on the future that she forgets how to move there. Like she's able to see far, but still take action in the dailiness of it, which that's a really huge gift. It's easy for someone to see far, but then they don't know how to take the steps forward and they lose sight of the process. She does both of those things. She carries both of those. I'm gonna let someone else add to this.
I mean, we could all just open up our mic and talk and talk and talk, I think. One thing that I especially was reminded of again on the yacht with Eva is her warmth and the way that she draws people. It's never just her doing this fun thing. It's like bring in the people. I mean, leaning on the counter with Captain Tom giggling over the mat. And when the servers would, you know, join us, teach us a dance step, do this, do that. And the staff on the yacht were like, we never do this, like sit around and gab with our guests like this, but they loved it. I just felt almost, I noticed that they all felt so drawn in, and I loved that so much. I think it's one of the characteristics that has made her so very, very successful in this industry because of her welcoming characteristic. I know the one girl was like, can you guys always be the guests on our yacht? And she was just the queen of creating that feeling among them.
I'd love to hear Judith working alongside her on the day-to-day basis too. Are there any, we can come back, I'll let Marge go, but if there's anything that pops out just in working with her as well.
I'm going to use one word. It's the overcomer. And I think that's from day one. I know we've already cried today, Eva. But when you take into perspective in 1 decade of life, 1 decade of life is not a whole lot. It goes by really fast, and it goes by faster the older that you get, I feel like. If what happened in that span of the 1 week on the yacht had been possible to be seen 10 years ago, we would not have believed that that was us on the yacht. In 10 years, even in just a year, you can do so much growth. And I have been privileged to have had some behind the scenes moments of very hard growth that we have gone through, that Eva has gone through. And if there's one thing that shines, she is not a quitter, ever. She is an overcomer, and she is a solution seeker. And alongside of that, other people find their solutions and are able to gain the courage and the grit and the resilience to walk through their hard times. And I, like Judith said, like every one of us has had a time of where we thought, okay, this is not the good time to do my business right now. Yes, it is, because you know why? Because she showed us, regardless of what was happening, we still are able to help others and to love others, to draw them in, to overcome, and to see the long-term vision. And I'm so grateful for that, Eva.
You guys are the
I love
same.
all of
You
this.
guys are the same. Like this is exactly how I view you all, each of you that I invited. Just the grit and the perseverance and the you never quit. You guys never quit on me. You guys never quitted on yourself. We're here. We're lifers.
Eva
I
always
love that so
says
much.
that she doesn't like doing anything alone. And like when she wants to go to town, she's like, Sarah, are you coming with me or not? Like she just doesn't want to do things alone. And I think that's a major quality. It's why we're all here. She wasn't going to go and do something this incredible and this amazing and not bring people with her. When she's always in growth. I love that about her, but she also always finds people who want to grow in that. She'll find she's very solutionary, very empowering, and long-term vision and all of that, but she goes and does it with whoever else will want to come with her in every season and all the things. And I think that's why there was such an incredible group of leaders that she was able to invite to the yacht, was because we all grew the things together. We all went and did the things together, and she empowered us and poured it into us to do that for ourselves too. So I love that about her, that she always takes me along in her growth journey.
I love that.
Your description makes me think of how when we were in the water on the yacht, and I was like, the crew is just standing there, like they literally are just watching us 8 grown women play in the water. Like they should join us. They don't need to like take care of us. And I'm like, so I asked one of the girls, I think it was Audrey, so why don't you guys jump in with us? And they're like, no, we actually can't. Or maybe it was Katie. I think I was talking to Katie. No, we can't. We shouldn't. And I'm like, why not? He's like, no, we don't. And I'm like, solutionary minded. Who do you have to ask in order to get the permission to do it? Do you have to talk to Tom, or who is it that you have to ask? So she was on her little earpiece and she's like, next thing you know, they don't even tell us and they just jump in. So they had asked their permission from whoever they need to get permission from. I'm like, they can't just be no. I need to find out who you have to ask permission for to make this happen. So it was so lovely. They jumped in with us, and then they went on the top deck and jumped in from the very top. They said they hadn't done it on that boat yet, right? Maybe I forget. Wow.
I love that.
That was fun.
That's so fun. That's so fun. So on a personal level, Eva, what did earning the trip mean for you? We kind of talked about like overview or like in your business, but on a more personal level, what came up?
I always wanted to be the invisible diamond, and that didn't just mean that I didn't like being in the spotlight and talking on stage. I realize I don't have the answers to everything, and everything that I'm learning is just me moving forward and processing in that and learning along the way. And so when I earned it, it just was like a check mark for me to realize that I had done some of the things right that I had been working on. And I had like, it was just affirmation. I don't want affirmation from people just saying it because they feel obligated to say it. Like a bunch of people are saying it, they feel obligated. I don't want that. I want it to be a real thing. And that just confirmed that I had done some things right. And so that's what it was for me in a big way. And then just the specialness of being able to treat my top leaders. Oh, Judith, with the thing that you said when I first earned it, and I said, I wanted to invite so many more people. Like there's so many more people I could have invited. And she said, I could have invited a fleet of people and filled it all. And it's true. That's how I feel. That's what I could have done. And that would have been really fun to have a whole fleet. How amazing would that be? Yacht party in the middle, but just be able to treat some of my very, very top leaders and sticking it out with me. That was my joy. That's just same as Ruby Retreat. Like that's just our joy to be able to treat everyone for just being there and sticking it out, and that being able to treat my people. Love it.
Okay, so on a more fun note, thank you for going a little deep with me and crying. There's this fun trick where if you press your tongue to the roof of your mouth, you won't cry, which is the only reason I don't have tears streaming down my face. What was the most memorable experience? So if people don't know all the details of what this like mystical yacht trip that we're talking about is, can you just give like a very brief, like what it means to earn it, and also like how many days it was and what that looked like, just some of the like logistics? Eva.
Oh, you're asking me. Okay, so
sorry.
Like how to earn the trip?
Yeah, so how many jewel legs, what did that look like, and what did that look like for you specifically?
Okay, so you earn the yacht trip when you have 4 stars, and then you get it like a number of 6 guests, but I have 5 stars, so I got 8 guests, 8 of us all together. So the more stars you get, the more guests up to a certain point. Andrew is 3-star, and so I built more stars than what I got for the yacht, but that is how that worked out. I am 5. So we have 5-star, but you get the yacht trip when you have 4-star, and that's 4 different legs of jewels, separate legs. I don't know if you want me to explain that exactly how that works. I'm not.
Well, I think that's, yeah, like, so
Okay.
4 separate emerald and above legs,
Yeah.
right? Or jewel legs.
And then was it 5 nights? I just felt like we lived there. Like I don't know how many nights we were there. 6 nights? I felt like we lived there and that we were in heaven, and this is where we are now, and this is who we are. And that's what it felt like. You could just stay there. I have never left a trip where I felt homesick, not before I even was at my home. Like that's how we felt when we left that trip. And it wasn't just the yacht. It wasn't just the glorious like service and like everything was perfection. It wasn't just that. It was the being together and just all of us being in a place in our own growth that we were able to receive in the way that we did. That was so beautiful. There was no cattiness. There was these 8 women we had all done the growth to be able to just be together and love on each other. And that was one of the best feelings ever. To have 8 women in one spot and just be content and loving. And it was just beautiful.
I love that. And that kind of goes into my next question of it was a super fun trip, but was there what did you learn about yourself? Or, I'm sure you learned lots about each other along the way, how you brush your teeth and different things, I'm sure. But what were some things that you took away, Eva, personally and team-wise? What was there growth, or was it just strictly fun and you just like turned off?
Did we turn off our business minds? I think for the most part we didn't. There was some moments that we didn't, but I didn't force myself to snorkel when I felt scared. I made myself do it for 5 minutes so that I could say I did it. But after that, I was just happy to watch Judith and Sherry just like have it out there. They just loved it. And I didn't feel like I needed to compare myself, like, why can't I do this better or whatever. I just like watching them enjoy it was just amazing. So something I learned was you can go, accomplish your fears or overcome your fears, but you don't need to just be there. just you don't need to just be in them and always have to dwell in them. That's something Sarah taught me. You don't have to do all the scary things. You can leave some for tomorrow.
Love it. Love it. And so for the rest of you ladies, was there something besides coming back with just like getting to live the vision and the dream and the goals of where you're going? What did you learn about yourself personally? It can be a little thing, it can be a big thing, it can be a deep thing or a shallow thing. Whoever wants to unmute.
I'm going to go into a little bit because I don't know if it struck me being there, but maybe more so after coming home. It was really, really interesting to a lot of outsiders that it was 8 women that went together. And it was also really interesting to a lot of Plexus Diamonds that Eva chose her leaders to do this, because a lot of the other leaders said, oh, that wouldn't work for us. And for us, it was the most beautiful thing ever. I feel like we were women from all walks of life. We have all gone through different journeys. We have all done a lot of growth. Each person was valued, respected, and loved, and brought such incredibleness to the table. Every dinner we had was filled with just such incredible conversation, topics of conversation that only 8 women could have. Honestly, and I've gotten so many questions of how did she pick women? Exactly, right? But when women grow and they become their best selves, that's incredible. That's really, and not many people in the world get to do that. And so that in itself, I have learned, was very, very impactful, and it's very visible to people watching. And so if that is you and you're creating that, know that that falls on a lot of what's the word? Like inquisitiveness. Like people are really curious about, how do these Plexus women work together? Do they actually like each other? Yeah, we kind of want to do a yacht trip again. Like we kind of liked each other a lot. It was really, really fun to share that perspective, because I don't think that there was a moment that one of us would have wished it to be different. The vibe that we had was what made the trip so, so amazing.
I love that. Sherry?
For me, there's multiple things. There was a celebration for me of how far I had grown, because the first time I had gone Jewel and Emerald and gone to Maui, I was so numb inside, I couldn't even take in the trip. The sense of this is not who I am was so strong that I just didn't even know what to do with it. So to be on a more extreme trip than that, and to be able to take it in and to soak it all in and enjoy it, that was just a huge of how far I'd come. And it was interesting, one of the comments actually Sarah made on the yacht was about identity. And it just, how someone will make a comment and you'll just kind of want to dig into that because you hadn't really dug into that too much before. Well, her comment made me dig into that. So the one morning on the yacht, I was just laying in the sun listening to someone talk about identity, and being able to, I felt like I saw with fresh eyes what my identity is. Like, the reason why I was able to take in the yacht trip was because it isn't my identity. It's sort of like when everything around you is your standard for how valuable you are, you're just like going like this. Like one moment you're here, one moment you're here, and you're like, where is my identity anyway? But when your identity isn't on those things, it makes it so that it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're on a $1 billion yacht trip or whether you're at home on a ranch or doing whatever you are, your identity stays strong. So those things, it's like that's what made it so I could take it in, because I wasn't comparing all those things and trying to determine my value based on all those things. And kind of back to what I was saying before a little bit, Eva has been a huge voice in my life to draw me into the giftings that of who I am. Because oftentimes the things that she sees in me are opposite of how I have thought of myself. And so when she says it, I'm like trying to take it in, but also just feeling like, are you sure you're seeing that right? Sort of like this tension there. And then she says it again, and she says it again, and she says it again, and she says it again. And Marge has been that for me too. Kind of, I consider Marge like Mama Marge. Like she's called that out in me enough that I'm like, oh, you accept it a little bit. So the yacht trip was a lot of a celebration for me of what I've accepted and allowed, and feeling the shift as I've stepped into that, and to allow and to celebrate those parts of me, and to so yeah, it was kind of like that peak moment where it's like, wow, that shift has really happened, and it completely changes how you view everything.
So good. Oh my gosh. I love that. I've loved watching each of you grow, even if it's not close and personal, but you can see that, right? And you can tell when you're interacting with people. And so each of you, the growth is absolutely beautiful and incredible. Judith, do you have anything to share on that?
Just as far as just some details of the yacht. So gorgeous fresh flowers everywhere. Marge and I shared a room, which she's the coolest bunkie. We got to our room the first night, and there's like this perfect all white roses, no green, no nothing, just pure white, like half of a dome of roses. And I was like, well, I'm sure these aren't real. And we pinched them and felt them, and they were real. But every morning getting up, you'd get whatever coffee you wanted. If you wanted a latte or a cappuccino or whatever, they would make it. And just going out on that sunny morning deck and sliding into the day really, really slow. And then off on an adventure. There was one every day, some kind of adventure, whether it was swimming with sharks or feeding pigs or having pigs take a munch out of your left butt cheek or snorkeling. And then you would come home, and they would always meet you with these most amazing, refreshing drinks. And we'd go maybe up on the sun deck and lounge and laugh and talk a little bit more. And then it was always getting dressed up for supper, and every single tablescape was just exquisite. It was like, oh, maybe this is my favorite. And then the next day it was like, oh, I think maybe this is my favorite. I love hosting, I love things like that. So those details were just glamorous. And yes, canapes, I sort of probably had to research that to even know what it was, but now we all know what canapes are. But
I
every
love that.
single detail was so well thought of, the care. I mean, even the way they would hold their hand behind their back when they would serve us drinks at dinner, it was just so classy and well done. Just a little twist back to Eva. It was just going through my mind so strongly here, and I'll try not to gut sob. But the thing that she has drawn me into, and the thing that is the most glorious part of who she is Jesus Christ. She's his and he's hers. And I'm not talking religion, you guys. I hate it. But she's shown me a father, like a love that's just like I've craved it all my life. And she's been the shining light in drawing me into that, never condemning, never like, hurry up, woman, would you figure this stuff out already? Because it's like, wow. But and I just felt like this trip sort of it was a picture even of him, just the nature and the glory and the fish and the beauty in the water. It was all part of who lives inside of his creation. It felt like such a culmination of a lot of things. Anyway, I'm out for now.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And I think all of us can echo that, and that we see that, and how, yeah, him. Sarah, the question was, what did you learn about yourself on the trip? Or was there any personal growth or things that you took away?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like just talking about it is like I can taste and smell and feel being there again. Um, it's been touched on already by a few of us. So, but I think that was one of the biggest things was just um, recognizing the leaders that we were and recognizing the value we each had. There was, if you have top leaders of a Plexus Diamond together, Plexus 5-star Diamond together, there's going to be strong personalities. There's going to be some pretty fierce leaders among that group. And it was just incredible to feel like I was one of them, and to feel like I have value and they have value, and we're here all together as a group, not me feeling like I have in the past where like I shouldn't say anything, I shouldn't do anything because like they're up somewhere where I'm not. So to just recognize my own value among others who have incredible value, um, that was a huge part for me. And then that also helped with soaking it all in, like just receiving it and allowing all of it to feel incredible and not going about feeling like inadequate or this is too much or like, you know, let's tone it down. It was all like, this is incredible. Let's just soak it in and spend every special moment together. And I think we were together as a group pretty much the whole time. And the special touches too were so cool. Like it was so personalized. We all had to fill out these detailed forms before we came on the things we like, what we like to drink, eat, what we like to snack on. And our music was all our own music, all our own playlists. Being able to have just that personal touch and be able to have all these yummy, healthy drinks throughout the trip versus just like taking what there is. We got to pick whatever kind of yummy, healthy drink we want. If we want an active, they bring us an active. If we want hydrate mixed with active, they'd bring us that. Whatever we wanted, they just served it. And it was a really, really incredible experience. And I will always treasure it. And I will never, ever take it for granted being invited to be there with each of the ladies who were there.
The delicious sachet.
Yeah, she called it active sachet.
I love it. And can't wait for you to go on your own yacht trip, Sarah, right?
Yeah,
And the
100%.
vision behind that. And the vision behind that. Okay, last like kind of deep question. I know we're like probably over time, but I'm okay with that. So if what role did Eva's work ethic play in her earning this trip, and how does it inspire you? Whoever wants to go first. I want to pull this out a little bit more.
Work ethic. Like, if you want to look at Plexus as a whole, Eva's like one of the top. Is it top 5? I don't know, something like that.
I think in the top 12.
10, 12, whatever it is, you can count it on your fingers. And it's a massive company, so no one gets anywhere by accident. There's always action taken, and she took that action, totally took that action. And so I think it's a great example of not being afraid to take action. Just do it.
I love that vision, Sherry, because sometimes we can't see where people are in Plexus, right? And I feel like before the Star Diamond program, a diamond was a diamond. And this has really revealed the program of where people have served a lot more people, a lot more. And Eva has never stopped. Her vision was 7 level 1 diamonds. And I've heard that throughout the years over and over, right? And I love that vision because it really shows that just because you have come to a part in your life, or maybe you guys are happy with where you're at, right? Like I'm okay with being senior Ruby, but what if the people under you aren't? What if they have bigger dreams? What if they want to go further? It's always about the other people's dreams too.
Mhm.
And so she's never stopped because that wasn't her vision. Her vision was for as many as want it, as many as are going to come alongside and do this with me, right? And so if we look at it that way, it's not about us getting to a point of where we feel like, okay, this is good. And personally been able to watch several diamonds do that. That is the freedom that this business offers us. You build your business to a certain point of where you can have what they call diamond freedom. But is that where you want to stop building other people's dreams? Is that where you want to stop being an inspiration for them? Like, it's so much more than us. Like, to me, I love that we have shared Jesus here today. And to me, it's like saying, okay, well, I've told a lot of people already. Now someone else can go tell people about him. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. We always keep going.
Sarah or Judith? Eva's work ethic and how it inspires you.
You can
We're
go,
both
Sarah.
unmuted now.
You see it right down the road.
Yeah. But Eva has always encouraged me to create my own, to be the leader that I'm created to be with my team. Even though she always like brings me in along in her journey and in her growth, she doesn't like just like swoop me in under her wing and I just grow because she does. It's always been like belief in me that I could, and building me up and empowering me to do things. So that's something I'm very inspired to do with my own team, is to build up people to create their own dream and their own team and their own their own style, because everybody's gifts are so unique and everyone is so unique. And her work, what was that question? I was soaking up what Marjorie was saying. I was all in there.
It was good what she was sharing, but what you're sharing is fantastic too. Just what you see with Eva's work ethic, and how it inspires, and just what you see up close
That
and
it's
personal.
first thing for me would be that it's always from her heart. It's never about having a certain number or a certain size or a certain something. It's from her heart that she wants something built or something to happen or someone else to grow or someone else to reach a rank. It's always from her heart. All of the team development, the personal growth, the delegating the team like she does, volunteering people. It's always from her heart because she sees so much in others. So I love that about her.
I have loved through the years that she kept it fun. We gotta have fun. And she always made it feel fun. It didn't become, I don't know, like, and part of the reason it makes people want to stay, I think, is just the feeling that comes along with it. It's fun, it's warm, it's inviting. She's always been very safe and confidential, which I think is huge in a leader. And I think she has a lot of strategy as a leader. I don't know if she even always knows, but I know looking back through some of my journey, there were times where she was sort of quiet, and it really I don't know if it was purposeful, but it was powerful. It probably was. I think she has a lot of born leadership understanding, but it made me dig in. Like, she didn't create dependency in people. She actually helped them to start walking themselves. It wasn't like she always took your hand and just like, okay, I'm going to help you walk. She actually helped you walk, and then she helps you run. And that's been huge, because you feel that in yourself when that dependency is there. That's exactly how you feel dependent. And it's powerful to realize when you start feeling your own leadership emerge. And she's just been so good at pulling that out of people. She's tried this and tried that, and this month you do this, and this month you do something different, and you shut down this chat and you open up another chat. It's
one of my strengths is shutting down
chat shuffling.
But I love what you're saying, Judith, because it's so easy to feel like someone else has got it better than you do, that they have something pulling them up more, when actually that's the thing that Eva gave to each of us, was that space to step up as a leader. She didn't coddle us. She didn't give us special treatment or something. She just called us out. She just called out who we could stand up and be. And so, yeah, she's super good at that, because it's so easy to feel super responsible for everybody on your team and to feel like you got to carry everyone. And Eva didn't carry us, but she definitely believed in us. So there's a tension there that she has carried that I've still learned how to carry that.
Oh, well, hearing you guys say all this stuff just fills my cup to the brim and flowing over. But I see this, everything you're describing, this is you guys. Like, I'm seeing you guys are talking about yourselves. That's what I think. But talking about work ethic, I was the first person on the yacht to be like, okay, we are done with dinner and our fancy pants dresses, and I'm putting my pajamas on. I'm the first one with the pajamas on. I also know how to have a good time, and I don't just always work. So as soon as dinner was done, pajamas on, up on the sun deck. It was like evening and it was sunset, and we just laughed hours into the night, danced. I have a precious video of Marge doing her own little diddle of dancing that I have saved that I did not put in our chat because I'm saving it for a rainy day.
Oh, I love that. Okay, we are wrapping up. So fun wrap. Actually, no, I'm going to save that. That's the very last question. I promise we will hear the fun things. So for people who are listening to this and watching this, what is one brief, quick piece of advice that you would give to people? And I want to hear from guests first, and then Eva, that you would give to somebody watching right now. Sarah, do you want to go first?
Having long-term vision, like not just viewing your own success as what's happening month to month or what's happening each month end or what's happening on your team, but seeing long-term growth and long-term building, because what you want long-term, building what your family wants in the future and working towards that.
So good. Sherry?
You tell me the question, because I also
Yeah, what advice, it can be like super short, would you give to someone who's watching this and it was like a yacht trip would be kind of amazing? What would be your one piece of advice?
don't hold back who you are. Don't make excuses about who you are and say that you can't do things. Step fully out into who you were created to be, because that's how you'll grow this business.
So good. Judith?
I would just say it's worth it. Like, it's worth it to when the points go down, to pull yourself back out of it again. When there's hard things, push through them. It is just so worth it.
So good. Marge?
I don't know if I can add to that. I think one thing that I find for myself is to never stop learning. You have never arrived. You have never grown enough. To me, a huge example of that is John Maxwell, sitting in the audience, taking notes from the people that he trained, always learning more, always growing more. And no, it doesn't get easier. It's intentional. It's that long-term vision that Sarah said. And when you keep growing, other people are inspired and they want to do it too. And so it's so easy sometimes to just crawl into our bubble and say, oh, you know what? I'm just not concerned about other people today. Today is hard for me. Those are the days especially that you need to lift your nose and look outside. Else it becomes about you and not about others. And when it's about others, you can actually, you don't need motivation. It'll be your growth that is pulling you forward.
So good. And Eva?
I would say be committed. Like, your team can feel if you're committed or not. Me saying I'm gonna have 7 level 1 diamonds. I mean, my team knew I was gonna just be here until I had 7 level 1 diamonds, and then we'll see what happens after that. Like, I'm probably gonna go further than that. Yeah. But when you claim those kind of things, people can feel your commitment, and they know that you're invested not only in your future but also in theirs. And it creates like a safe place for them to be able to fail and still move forward, and be able to stumble and like know that that's no big deal. That's just a tiny little blip in your whole entire journey. Just keep going, and they can see your commitment and take strength from it.
I'm going to add one thing. Believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So good. All right. Fun question. Rapid, short. What was your favorite moment of the trip? Marge, do you want to go first? Like one highlight. What's the first thing that pops in your mind that stands out?
Good gosh, I cannot answer that. Everything. It was like every day we came back, we would be like, today was my favorite day, and the next day was better. It was experiences that you had never experienced before, with people that you knew would probably never happen again. Judith driving the golf cart around that roundabout, forever imprinted in my heart. It was all so beautiful.
All right, Sarah.
Oh, there's no way to answer this. It was 100 favorite moments a day. Like, for seeing each other first thing in the morning, having breakfast, amazing, best meal ever, best discussion ever, lunch, favorite ever. Like, the whole thing was so special. I'll say this though, they did a very special sapphire celebration dinner for me. So that is forever a gift that I'm always grateful for. Very special. But all the moments, like, you can't even, the little boat, you would go on a cool little boat, a smaller boat, to go to the beach or to go explore something. Very, very fun. Loved all of those.
I can
Love
still
it.
see Marge dancing and singing "Buy Dirt" at the top of her lungs. That was a good moment. Like, and we all sort of looked at each other and we we're like, this moment, like we drank it in. For me, I loved the snorkeling. That was just incredible. And what was the other thing that I was going to say? Oh, another time when we went out and fed the iguanas grapes. That was really cool. And I had a little bird come sit on my finger. I was holding half a grape and he just sat there. Like, I've never been 5 inches from a bird, and it sat there and just one of those moments that felt so surreal. And it was like, I am awake. It's not a dream. This is the reality that we're living in right now. But just the being, yeah. Some of my top favorite people on planet Earth to go and we get to carry these memories with us forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a gift.
So awesome. Sherry?
But you ask that question, I get like flashes like this going through my mind. So like everyone's saying, it's like, what flash do you want me to tell you about? But one that I have told a lot of people, and I'm thinking it's because it kind of stands out for me, is being up on the top deck so you can see really far, because it's quite high. It must be 30 feet in the air. I don't know, something like that. So I would stand up on the cushions on the top deck, and you'd just see out over the expanse of the water, and that water is so blue, like so blue. Like, you sometimes take pictures and then you go to real life, it's like, okay, it's not quite the same as the pictures. Well, the blue of the water was just like the blue of the water in the pictures, like perfectly blue. So you're like looking out over this water, and there's worship music playing. Like, it's very rare to go someplace and see something amazing and have like worship music all at the same time. So there's like all these layers. So I'm standing on the top deck looking out over the water. The reason I'm here is because I was invited as a guest. So massive gift, like huge gift. I'm looking out over this water that is so beautiful. I'm with these friends that I couldn't imagine having, like, just like this perfect group of women there we were just being refreshed so that we could go out and serve at the Ruby retreat, serve our teams more. And just, I guess that moment I just like drank it in, I guess.
Love that. That was, yes, those are the moments.
Just the whole fact that there's 8 of us on the yacht, so Eva plus 7 guests, and then there's 10 people serving us. Like, whenever are you in a place where there's more people serving you than guests? And the thing is that they're always constantly folding your toilet paper. Like, and they know how to host you so well. They don't make you feel weird because they somehow talk behind the scenes and they're like, oh, this person's up here. Okay, so let's go fold this toilet paper. And I think Eva said she would put a mark in her bed just to see if they'd fix it. She would leave, come back, and it would be totally smooth again.
Like, I have a theory. They talk to each other and they're like, Eva is not in her room. Go check if her bed is like perfect. And then they go and it was true. That's what happened. But my favorite memory, there's so many favorite memories. I mean, Sarah and I stayed in the same room, love sharing a room with Sarah. We screamed, laughed in the middle of the night into our pillows so we wouldn't wake anybody up because for no reason. Judith and me just grabbing each other every random second, being like, is this actually our life? And then me and Marge sea-dooing out there and just like, I don't know if I'm scared or happy or excited or what, but this is so fun. I want to do this every day of my life. Sherry going under the water. I don't know how she did it, going under the water with that little bob thing. And I was like, oh no, is she gonna come up? And she was just so brave. And I'm like, send it to Wes because I'm like, look what your wife is doing right now. Just look. Every moment, there's no favorite. I can't pick one.
That's so good. So good. Thank you, each of you, for sharing. My last question for Eva is, what's next with your big vision?
Ooh, what's next? Can I get back to you on that? I need to refresh my why. Oh, so much more.
So
All
good.
of you guys in your yacht trips. That's what's next.
Love it. Thank you, each of you, so much for taking the time today to answer my questions. And thank you to each of you that was on listening. It's just such a special experience and something that I'm so glad that you ladies were willing to share today and share fun memories and deep things. And Eva, we are just so thrilled to have you as a leader on our team and for us. And you have shown so much vision and strength and grit and just shown that it's so possible for anyone. Like, I forget who said it on the call, right? No matter your personality or whatever, you can do this, right? And it's possible. And so thank you all so much. And I can't wait to interview each of you guest ladies once you've gone on your yacht trips.
Yeah,
That's going to be amazing. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you, Samantha.
Have a great day, everyone.